Henry Lee Bates, and the Way to a Wonderful Life message for today is titled, Too Loved to Fail. Too loved to fail. So as we take some words into our mind that give us that definite idea, that definite truth that God so loves us, that we can find ourselves realizing a greater strength and a greater joy and a greater conviction that life can be good if we choose the good. Let's look at the Gospel of John 3:16, and let's look at it in this interpretation that will give us a closer meaning to what Jesus is trying to accomplish in the world. It says, For God so loved the world that whoever believes shall not fear, but shall know that life is eternal. And we're created in the image, likeness of God. And as Jesus said, we are one with God. We are one with the nature of God. And that nature of God's intelligence and power and spirit is eternal. And from Paramahansa Yogananda, we can read, The true lover is God. We are all God's beloveds, mistakenly seeking love in impermanent human beings. The thirst for affection can never be quenched by the imperfect love of mortals. When the devotee, by the practice of loving mortals truly, learns to love all beings, and by meditation learns to love God supremely, then and only then is their longing for love satisfied. And from the Jewish wisdom we can read, For the Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and great in love. Great in love. So it's a wonderful and powerful thing to think that we can know that God is God, we're loved by God, and this is an absolute truth. I have loved you with an everlasting love. We read in the book of Jeremiah, and to think of this life as a gift from the intelligence and the power and the spirit that creates all things and is incarnated in all living things is to elevate our thought to the highest level. To know that this love of the infinite for all that is created is unconditional, universal, and immutable is to realize that it is beyond anything the human mind can fully conceive. So many people fail to realize this highest truth in their mind because they cannot get past the idea of a God created in man's image, a God that is biased, a God that is judging, and a God that is punishing based on man-made ideas about God and our relationship to this infinite presence. We need to go back to those teachings of Jesus who drew forth from the Jewish wisdom the true nature of God. The true nature of God. There were still so many people worshiping false gods, even in Jesus' time. Sometimes people forget. They isolate themselves from the rest of history by just focusing on what they've read or what they understand something to mean, rather than go deeper into their mind and realize that there was a whole culture of people going on with all manner of things going on with religion and politics and government during the time of Jesus. So we know that for us to realize the highest truth in our mind, we must get past that idea of a God created in man's image. That God is not a judging God. God is a God of love and law. Love gives us the good idea. Love will guide us and direct us if we put our mind on God. And the law of God, just like the laws of the physical, the law of gravity, responds to us all in a universal, immutable way, changeless. We can depend on it. So as wonderful it is to believe that God loves us unconditionally, this in and of itself will do little for us unless we also love ourselves. We must love ourselves. Everything we know of this intelligence that we call God tells us that our relationship is one of correspondence. In other words, the love of God corresponds to our love of self, and in this corresponding action, we find the power of God working through us for our greatest good at all times. This is why the Mastermind Jesus said that the kingdom of God is within you. It is within us to love and to be loved. It is within us to love God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind, and to love ourselves to the same degree. God is the life within us, the power within us, and the intelligence within us, that is, within our mind, which fully encompasses our entire beingness. So let's understand these words and get them in our mind. For God so loved the world that whoever believes shall not fear, but shall know that life is eternal. And the true lover is God. We are all God's beloveds, mistakenly seeking love in impermanent human beings. The thirst for affection can never be quenched by the imperfect love of mortals. When the devotee, by the practice of loving mortals truly, learns to love all beings, and by meditation learns to love God supremely, then and only then is our longing for love satisfied. For the Lord is gracious and merciful and great in love. For the Lord is gracious and merciful and great in love. So we must understand that God has created us not as perfect beings, but as a perfect spirit that's put here on planet Earth to have a human experience. And in the human experience, we find imperfections. We find false ideas, and we find people worshiping false gods, and we find people even worshiping people. You know, there are so many people that worship other people. They believe everything they say, and they follow them blindly. So we know that that's the truth. It's always been the truth. We call Jesus the mastermind because he accepted the realization that God is intelligent, infinite intelligence, and this intelligence calls us to love not only God, but to love our neighbor as ourselves. And our neighbor closest to our mind is our very own physical presence and all that is included in our material possession. To contemplate in our mind the power of love is to bring us into a greater realization of not only the intelligence that permeates the universe in which we live, but also brings us into a greater realization in our mind of the power that supports us and sustains us in all things that concern us, our health, our happiness, our success, our creative expression, and our companionship. That Jesus calls us to discover this power and presence within us. The Buddha calls us to discover it. Paramahansa Yogananda calls us to discover it. And the Jewish wisdom calls us to find that within us, within our mind, that elevates us to something greater and higher in our mind than what we've experienced in the past. To discover this presence, this power, and this intelligence of God within us to a greater degree, we must never let discouragement find a place in our mind. We must daily remind ourselves that life is a journey, not a destination, and be willing to not only take the time to gain the inner understanding that this is necessary for us to realize self-reliance, but to learn to enjoy the doing of it. Learn to enjoy the doing of it. We must learn to enjoy this thing called life. You can't love something that you don't enjoy, and you can't enjoy something that you don't love. So to love God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind is to enjoy the feeling, that sense within our mind, our heart, and our soul of God's presence in our life. To realize that we draw from this intelligence and this power and this spirit, and as we do, life becomes healthier and happier, more prosperous. We find experiences that give us a sense of wonder about this universe in which we live. And we start finding ourselves imagining doing greater things, having greater things, and even being a greater person. So we find that in our mind, and we just allow ourselves to bring in this sense of being a part of God, this sense that God is guiding us and directing us, and pretty soon it becomes just a natural state of mind for us. Let's look at these words from the American mystic Ernest Holmes. He says, enjoy, go within to meet this life. And he's telling us the same thing that Jesus said. Jesus said, go into the closet. And he meant the closet of our mind, where no one else can see us, where no one else can know our thoughts. Go into the closet, and what God sees in secret, God rewards thee with openly. So Ernest Holmes is telling us, enjoy, and then the feeling of joy, go within to meet this life, expect it to respond, know that it is going to, have no anxiety, relax and trust and believe, and don't deny it. Begin with whatever affirmative and constructive thinking you have and build on that. Refuse to dwell in the darkness of unbelief. Refuse to be overcome by negative suggestions. Boldly step through the place of doubt and plant your feet on the solid rock of faith. Life is enthusiastic joy. Don't let your thoughts stagnate. Loose everything that is in you and expect a larger flow. In other words, loose everything that is calling us to deny the spirit in our life. Live and think and act as though the entire nature of this life were delivered to you individually. See it as individually. See it as God is personal to you. Remember that the more you give, the more greatly you will receive. In other words, the more you keep your mind stayed on God, stayed on the good, and keep the images and the likenesses of things in your mind focused on the positive and the wonderful, that which is good for us and good for everyone around us, the more we will receive. As Jesus said, if our mind be stayed on God, stayed on the good, then all good things will be added unto us. But we must begin to believe. We must begin to believe that not only does God love us, but this infinite power and intelligence is our source of all things, including the very life that we're living. The very life that we're living. So let's go back to those words again from the American mystic Ernest Holmes. He says, enjoy, and a feeling of joy, go within to meet this life. And what is this life we're going within to meet? It's the kingdom of God within you, just as Jesus said. The kingdom of God is within you, not low here or low there. So quit looking for it outside of you. Quit looking for it in some person, place, or thing, but to realize that the kingdom of God is within you, not low here or low there, and start feeling a sense of that kingdom being revealed to you in a greater way, beginning right now, beginning today. So Ernest Holmes says, enjoy, go within to meet this life, expect it to respond. Expect it to respond. In other words, be still and know and listen for that still small voice. Just as we read in the ancient wisdom. Expect it to respond. Know that it is going to. Have no anxiety. Just relax and trust and believe, and don't deny it. Begin with whatever affirmative and constructive thinking you have and build on that. So just imagine, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want the answer to whatever thing I need an answer to. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want the money to do the things that I want to do. I shall not want the health and the strength to do the things that I desire to do. I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's a powerful affirmative statement. So begin with whatever affirmative and constructive thinking you have and build on that, he tells us. Refuse to dwell in the darkness of unbelief. Refuse to be overcome by negative suggestions. Boldly step through that place of doubt in your mind and plant your feet on the solid rock of faith. Say it to yourself. I plant my feet on the solid rock of faith. Life is enthusiastic joy. Don't let your thoughts stagnate, he tells us. Loose everything that is in you and expect a larger flow. Keep every channel open, alive, awake, and aware. Live and think and act as though the entire nature of this life were delivered to you individually. Remember that the more you give, the more greatly you will receive. The more you give of your thoughts to God, the more you give of your ideas to God, the more you give of the images and likenesses that come into your mind to God, that God has given me this idea. God has given me this image of health and happiness and joy. God has given me all these things so that I can express all the goodness, all the good to the glory of God. It's not for me. It's not for me to be revealed. It's for God to be revealed through me. It's for God to be revealed through me. And that's the wonderful thing. So let's just take those ideas into our mind and let's think about them for a moment. For God so loved the world that whoever believes shall not fear but shall know that life is eternal. So when we start realizing into our mind that this life is a journey, it's not a destination, that we may not fulfill everything in this life that we choose to fulfill in this life. because this is a whole universe for us to explore and to imagine, and for us to realize in our mind and our heart and our soul and in our physical presence. We want to feel the presence of God in all the things around us, and we want to feel the presence of God in those things that we haven't seen yet or experienced yet. So let's not worry about life being a destination, but keep in our mind that life is a journey, and that we're always moving forward in this journey. We're always moving forward and looking with wonder at this universe that God has created, and realizing that we're part of this wonder. I mean, can you imagine the intelligence that clothing our spirit in human form and putting all of us here? And we're all individuals. We're all unique. And so often I remind people to look at your fingerprints and realize that you're a unique expression of God, that there's no one else like you. There's no one else. There's no one else that has the same ideas in their mind, the same thoughts in their mind. There's no one else that can do things in the same exact way that you do. There's no one else that feels the same sense of love and joy that you do. To start feeling that uniqueness and learn to love the self of us. We must learn to love that part of God within each and every one of us, that part of God that responds to the universe, by corresponding to the wonders of the universe that God has created, the joys, the happiness, the love, and the harmony that we can experience as we take our mind off the problems, take our mind off the negatives, and put our mind on the good. And we may be surprised how quickly things begin to change as we put into practice this faith in God and this faith in ourselves, this love of God for us, and this love of God in us, as us. We are too loved to fail, so expect success. We are too loved to fail, so expect to manifest permanent prosperity. We are too loved to fail, so expect health. We are too loved to fail, so expect happiness. We are too loved to fail, so expect that perfect idea, that right thought, that right guidance and direction that will open doors of opportunity for you. We are too loved to fail, so expect the best that you can imagine for yourself, because the fact that you can imagine it means that it's possible. And even though we in our human incarnation and our human abilities may not to be able to make all things possible, there is that within us that knows that with God all good things are possible. So let's bring that truth into our mind in a greater way. Let's start affirming, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, which is why I'm too loved to fail in anything that I take on in my life. I'm too loved to know negativity and false ideas and false truths about myself. Let's know that inspiration and guidance are available to us. And let's permit ourselves to be moved upon in our mind. Let our mind be moved upon by the divine intelligence and love of God. Let's lay aside every sense of burden or false responsibility or fear or uncertainty. And let's enter into the kingdom of good today. Just as Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you, not low here or low there. So know that this kingdom is accessible. It's accessible. As your mind is filled with the faith and the hope and the love of God, as your mind is filled with the realization that we are truly created in the image and the likeness of God, that we are truly loved by God. For God so loved us that whoever believes shall not fear, but shall know that life is eternal. And the true lover is God. We are all God's beloveds, mistakenly seeking love in impermanent human beings. The thirst for affection can never be quenched by the imperfect love of mortals. We get this from Paramahansa Yogananda. When the devotee, by the practice of loving mortals truly, learns to love all beings, and by meditation learns to love God supremely, then and only then is their longing for love satisfied. So let's just know that absolutely this is the truth for us. And from the Jewish wisdom we read, for the Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and great in love. And what is that anger? That anger we find within ourselves. So we may be surprised how quickly things begin to change as we put into practice this faith in God and this faith in ourselves, this love of God for us, and this love of God that's seeking to be expressed through us, as us. But we must realize today, emphatically, put this into your mind and say, this is the truth for me. I am too loved to fail. I am too loved to fail. I am too loved to let illness take my life. I am too loved to let poverty negate my joyful experience of life. I am too loved to let lack of success burden me. I am too loved to find myself with stagnated thoughts. I am too loved to allow myself to be anything but this glorious, wonderful expression of God, this truly magnificent image and likeness of God, seeking to be expressed through me, as me, and for me. And so it is.